welcome to Miniprojects. Today we're going to see how good 3D printer glue guns are and if I can harvest the microphone from this old camera and add an aux cord to it so I can actually use it on my PC. To start off, we're going to be doing the glue gun. We're going to see how well it works because some people have, as you can see, put these 3D printed rods inside of glue guns to go and fuse 3D prints together. So I designed and 3D printed these rods. They just go straight inside of the thing and then they melt out the tip. So I have some scrap 3D prints because I don't have any real 3D prints on me, and I'm just going to see if they fuse together. So, or not necessarily fuse together, but if they hold together. So I'm gonna just clean off the tip real quick. So we're going to see if this piece can fuse to this piece. So let's just throw a nice dollop of this stuff on there. Comes out almost like icing, honestly. Alright, so there you go. And now I'm gonna smush it on there and let that cool. And the good part is, since this does just come out of the nozzle, wow, there's a lot of pressure still in there. So I guess just constantly clean it up. Like a glue gun, you can just take it and you can weld the insides to make sure that there's nothing that doesn't get inside there. Alright, so we now have this one, and now we're going to do the same thing with two different colors of filament because those came from the same piece. We're now going to do this broken piece of the wrench, which you might have seen in an earlier video, and we're just going to see if it sticks to this. It looks like a flower with too much support. So and you can even see it actually ratchets because of the fact that I put ribs on it. So it actually, or ridges, sorry, it actually does fuse together. Now normally I wouldn't plan to use this, but I do have certain prints like the battery holder on my bike, which are two very large prints that are held together, and this would be perfect for fusing the spot that the hot glue doesn't get to, or the crazy glue doesn't get to. So let's see, it's still warm. It's a little bit warm. I think the only problem I foresee with this is A, you actually have to make them, and B, once you do make them, as you can see, it's already oozing out the tip. And if you own a 3D printer, you know how bad that can be when starting a print. You can only imagine how bad it would be on something like this, which this is over a millimeter nozzle, so this would be one crazy thing to 3D print with, so it just keeps going. But these are fully designable. I do plan to put these in the description if you want to use them, and all you need to do if you wanted to change the diameter is just size it up in Cura and print them. So it's still going, and let's see, has this cooled yet? Feels pretty cool. Alright, so let's see how easy it just snaps off, or if it does snap off. Okay, a bit of strength. It doesn't look like any of the bottom actually melted, which I mean sort of makes sense. I wasn't expecting this to fuse the stuff together, but there is some stuff that is really on there. So I'm going to try again, because now since the glue inside there, or the filament inside there, will actually be heated up, because I did just do a sort of cold start. We can also sort of see right there, I don't know if it'll focus, but that's the infill, so it is actually melting the print, which is very good because that means it's more likely to bond. So whoop, if you go too hard it'll slip. So let's just take that and plop it right down there. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. It's less of like a goopy icing and more of just, whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, it's less of a goopy icing and more of just liquid, which that's probably because it heated up finally. So let's just throw that in there. And honestly, if this does work, I'm going to see if this can repair V7 on my skateboard, because right now V7 sheared on the line. So let's see. Alright. So at this time, we get to see if this holds on. Hopefully it will. Let's see. Nope. It, it just slides off. Okay. Maybe we should try again on a flatter surface. So let's just try clean the nozzle again. Get it in there, and now. And again, this is not really just for 3D printing like a 3D printer, what do you call it, pen. This is more of just if you need to fuse some prints together or hold something together temporarily. So, yeah. Now that it's actually a little bit flexible when I put it in there, we can see. So, that's still a bit smushy, so that's still not cold yet. So, alright, in the meantime, we're going to start taking this apart. Now, this is from an old Panasonic TV camera, so I'm very interested to see how it goes. I mean, the plastic is so weak on this because it's so old that you can literally see it just explodes. So, yeah. Now, on that note, I'm actually going to put my safety glasses on. So, alright. Ooh, oh, that's so sick. So, this thing, oh wow, I guess, you know what, I guess this video is also going to double as a taking apart video. So, that thing right there, that's a cathode ray screen. This thing has not been plugged in for the last, at minimum, 20-30 years, so I'm not afraid of getting any shocks or whatnot. Yeah, it was made in July 1983, so there you go. Let's pop this bad boy open. Ah, no, we got a few more. So you've probably noticed that I'm not wearing my usual yellow sweatshirt, and that's A, because it has stains, and B, well, this is sort of a different type of video, so I wanted to change up the flow a little bit. Come on. Wow. That is so cool. It is exactly a flat, or not flat, a just mini cathode ray tube. Oh, it's so sick. Here. It's probably not gonna focus because I have to turn on the auto stuff, but that is so cool. Because I've seen big ones before, obviously, in big TVs and in the oscilloscope that I showed in the previous video, but something this small, I'd be interested to see what this would take to get to work. So let's take it out and, well, we can, that is a very complex microphone. It's gonna be interesting to deal with. It does look like it only has 2 cables coming off of it though, which is helpful. So we're going to save all of this just because we can. This I honestly might frame because it'll look like a cool desk piece. So let's take out those however many wires. So let's just cut it off right at the source. All right. Oh, I realize now I probably should have tried to keep the housing because it would have looked cool, but oh well, hindsight's 20/20. So let's actually just check up on this. Let's see. Does it just slide off? Oh, wow. Okay, maybe it was just weak, but wow. The dents have gotten larger, and it did take a little bit to push on that one. So maybe it would be good for more of just a surface type fusing instead of just full-on fusing. But that's with only a little bit on a small piece. Now what about this? A lot on a big piece. So, wow, it's still warm. Okay, let's see, just... Okay, it still broke off, but did have to do a good amount of force. I mean, for a temporary fix, honestly, it's pretty good. For a cheap... Oh, wow, that's really leaking. But for a cheap and temporary fix, honestly, not horrible. It also could just make your prints look better because you could sand it, or you could put this on there and then sand it, and it'll just merge right in. And it'd be a lot better than glue because glue sometimes will expand. This stuff will just fill in the layers perfectly. So I would honestly call this a success for fusing stuff together. So that's the glue gun stuff done. Let's unplug it so it can cool. And one last thing. Once you do this with the glue gun, it's permanently going to only do filament, because cleaning the filament out of this is nearly impossible. So now this is just a filament glue gun. So, well, it's another tool to add to the toolbox. So we do also have a mirror in here, which that's going to be fun to mess around with. But let's get to the reason why we're here, which is this. So, come on. Interesting. I have barely any clue what I'm looking at right now. I think this needs a little bit more taken apart, because there's a shield, which that I understand, but there's 2 wires, and then there's a bridging wire right there. As you can see, there's that white wire, which I've yet to figure out what it does. So I'll just pop that off. I think I'm definitely going to keep the shielding, and if I ever do make a housing for this, if it actually sounds cooler, well, good, then I would definitely want to use this, just because it looks, I don't know, pretty sick. So, okay. Let me take this. Oh, it actually has, that's weird. It actually has isolation on it. There's a little bit of a space and gap with some stuff on it. This is interesting. I mean, I know it's actually good, or it's a TV camera, so it's something that was good. I just didn't know. Ah, okay. So now looking at this, there's a green and red wire. I'm assuming, well, one of them is going to be positive, one of them is going to be negative. And what happens is that bridges onto this, if you can even call it a circuit board, and from that circuit board, it then goes into these thicker wires. So it looks like, yeah, so it looks like it just bridges the gap and acts as sort of a in between, so if this gets pulled, it's not going to destroy the wires on the microphone, which is not a bad idea. So now how to take this apart without destroying it. Oh, that's definitely glue that's holding it on. Ah, oh well. So let's just pull this thing off. Okay, so we have some solder on there, so let's get our good old helping hands and do a little bit of some desoldering. Nice and clean. Now let's see, was this good? Actually, you know what? Just in case before it gets hot, what is under here? Ooh, oh, I think these are just contacts. Oh yeah, those are so thin. I mean, those wires are minuscule. I mean, minuscule. But it does just look like it just connects right to it. So, is it worth, I'm debating if it's worth desoldering it right now, just because testing it will be a lot easier. Well, we know which one goes where, and we know that there's only 2 wires. So I think I'm actually gonna reverse the plan. Instead of desoldering and doing this, we're going to instead just solder the connectors straight to here. Now, in my other video, the phone one, I originally just soldered only one of the wires to the microphone, and I didn't think anything of it. What I did find out, though, in the end, was that it only recorded mono audio, so it just sounded weird. Like it sounded like I was just talking in one of your ears. And so what I'm actually going to do to negate that is I'm going to solder the thing to both the right and left side. So, all right, we have our wire open, and give me a second. I just need to go and look up what is what for the. Actually, wait a second. No, I don't, because ground is ground, and then the 2 are the same. Oh, there you go. That makes that easier. So let's just take this thing off. That should be enough. Let's take the ground and move it around. Normally I like it when they have the ground wire be be the same format as the other ones and just colored black instead of just having it as the housing. But, well, I can't complain too much. I mean, I can, it's not worth it. So now, let's see. Is this gonna come off? No, who am I kidding? So, actually, I wonder if I could just take it off my nail. Wow! And it's actually good wire too, because certain really thin wires that are garbage will literally just, like, you'll try and like pull it and it'll just rip itself in half. So, wow, that is, wow, this is going a lot better than I thought it would be. So let's just take the ground wire. By the way, this is just a simple aux cord that I harvested from a speaker. So I'm going to, okay, good. I'm actually surprised that this falling didn't just shatter the plastic. So let's just take this and do some, yeah, just pulling that a little bit. Do some wrapping around. Because these are going to be really easy to solder because it's just bare metal. These, on the other hand, not so much. So let's see. Gotta bring my good wire strippers that I have. Come on. Alright, never mind then. Alright. Wow, this is just being very unagreeable. Alright, so we got over to the white now. Let's actually clip that little edge off. Alright, so now we just gotta take these 3 wires, throw them together. That should theoretically give us both right and left audio, so when I'm testing it, it doesn't sound weird. Alright, let's go. That's awesome. Alright, so now I'm just gonna heat it up, throw some solder on, and yeah. So let's just beautiful. Wow. Alright, so now for the fun part, we're gonna go and test this. So, wow, that was really quick. It's amazing how microphones really haven't changed a huge amount. I mean, obviously the quality has, but yeah. Oop, and the light's turned off. So we now have the microphone plugged into the computer. It did detect it, which is always a good sign. And now we're just gonna do the microphone test. So, here's the microphone test. I don't know if it's gonna sound good or bad. It hopefully sounds good, and hopefully you're hearing me right now. Well, as you can hear me. It's not the clearest, and it does cut out a little bit, but honestly, the fact that it's discernible is what means that it works. So, I would not be surprised if it sounded a lot better on its original motherboard, but I would consider that a success. So, today was a really quick video. I mean, we had both successes, and yeah, so next week, I have no clue what we're going to be doing, but I do know that I will be seeing you at the same time, Sunday at 8 a.m. Thank you so much for watching, and well, if you like these types of videos, I'll do more of them. I had to tape